Okay. Hello, everyone. I am going to teach you the phenomenon of osmosis today. Let me see a few things about the volume. Okay. Seems to be okay. All right. So, when we're talking about osmosis, we're talking about a special type of diffusion. Diffusion happens to be the movement of fluid from areas of low concentration to areas of high concentration. Now, osmosis is something different. In the case of osmosis, we have a wall, if you will. We have a semi-permeable membrane. That's what we call that wall. And um, this semi-permeable, this semi-permeable membrane is permeable to only to some substances and it's impermeable to others. In the case where we have the phenomenon of osmosis, there is movement of fluid from high areas of concentration, of solute concentration, to areas of low solute concentration inside the cell. That is what we call osmosis. Are there any questions about this?
So osmosis from high concentration to low.
That's right.
Inside of the cell.
Yes. The opposite movement would be called diffusion. But remember, with osmosis, there's one more characteristic that we should not forget about, and that is something called the semi-permeable membrane. You have to have a semi-permeable membrane when you're having the phenomenon of osmosis.
What is the semi-permeable
Membrane. Okay, but that's a very good question. A semi-permeable membrane is a membrane like that of, say, the eggshell. It represents a semi-permeable membrane for the egg because it is a membrane where some substances can cross it while others cannot. So, to give you an example, if we put an egg in a solution of vinegar or acetic acid, and we observe the movement of the molecules of that vinegar or acetic acid as they flow inside the egg, we will observe that vinegar can go into the cell, but it cannot come out, right? So that shell of the egg represents its semi-permeable membrane in ways where one substance can go into the egg, but it cannot come out. Okay? Is that understood?
Yes.
Okay, so now we would like to define some things about the concentration. You see, if the concentration of solute is equal on both sides of the semi-permeable membrane, then we're talking about an isotonic concentration. If this doesn't happen, and let's say the concentration of solute, which in our case was vinegar, is more outside the cell or the egg, in our case, then this will be a hypertonic concentration. So a solution where there's more surrounding fluid in the surroundings of the cell than there is inside. We call that a hypertonic concentration. If, however, the opposite happens and there is less concentration in the surrounding fluid, we call that a hypotonic concentration. So we have three types of concentration. Iso, the word means equal, isotonic, hypertonic, which means more concentration on the surrounding fluid, and hypotonic, which means less concentration in the surrounding fluid. So, are there any questions?
No.
Okay. So, this concludes our lesson. Thank you very much for attending it.
Oh, you're quite welcome, Mrs.
You're welcome.